Hello, my friends. And today, once again, there is evidence that Russians, precisely after the shelling of Belgorod, decided to turn Kharkiv into a gray zone. This is reported by foreign media, citing sources in Kyiv.
Military sources in Kyiv claim that Russia has decided to make Kharkiv a gray zone uninhabitable for civilians, The Economist. However, Mayor Terikov denied this, saying that his city does not intend to surrender. He argues that it was worse at the beginning of the war, when all but 300,000 of the pre-war population of 2 million people fled. How can such a city be turned into a gray zone? People won't leave because they've already left and then come back. They've already suffered enough, the mayor said.
Russians also don't hide their goals.
The forced evacuation of families with children may be announced in the Kharkiv and Bohodukov districts, said the head of the Kharkiv Regional Military Administration Sinihyubov. What is our task now? To force the inhabitants to leave the city for further bombing by the FABs. And it is necessary to intensify the blows. The Kokol actively hides equipment among the urban development, traditionally using its population as a human shield.
As seen, they are attempting to destroy the city primarily through shelling, without even capturing it. So what do you think about this? Be sure to share your opinion in the comments. As for Zelenskyi, he stated that Patriots are currently needed in Ukraine to prevent having to use them along the entire eastern flank of NATO later on.
Є системи ППО у світі, які можуть допомогти. Потрібна лише політична воля, щоб ці системи були передані Україні. Я дякую тим країнам, які вже допомогли, і бути активними у виконанні цього завдання – це персональна відповідальність наших дипломатів, які працюють за напрямками та країнами, де є необхідні системи. Зараз Патріотам місце саме в Україні, щоб згодом не довелось їх застосовувати щонайменше по всьому східному флангу НАТО.
So today, Russian activity practically doesn't decrease along the entire front line. And let's start with the Bakhmut direction. Currently, this direction sees the largest number of attacks, about 20 assaults per day. And yesterday, the occupiers managed to advance 3 kilometers and 200 meters towards the outskirts of Chasiv Yar. And today, battles are underway for Bogdanivka, Ivanivske, Avdiivka, and Klishchiivka. And the Ukrainian forces are trying to hold them back precisely in these settlements. However, as it's evident, Russians have already advanced across the fields between these villages. And now the situation has become more complicated. Essentially, today we can say that the Russians have reached the outskirts of Chasiv Yar and the fighting continues. In the Avdiivka direction, the occupiers failed to capture Berdichi, and today only shelling is being reported. But further south, battles are taking place in the areas of Persists, Netailove, and Nevitske. So it's evident that they are trying to actively maneuver here to reach Kharkiv from the south. However, no progress has been made in the past day, and the front line remains unchanged. The Ukrainian side hasn't confirmed yesterday's statement about the capture of the center of Persists by the Russians, although unofficial sources continue to report further advancement today. But for now, I think it's not worth trusting this information, so we await official statements. In the direction of Marinka, the occupiers have once again started to storm Krasnohorivka. Battles for Novomykhailivka continue, and attacks have resumed in the area near the village of Pobeda, with 17 attacks reported in the past day. However, they haven't achieved any success, and the front line remains unchanged. In the Vuhledar direction, the situation remains unchanged. So the occupiers conducted 2 attacks on Staromayorsk during the day, but didn't achieve any success. The Ukrainian forces are repelling all advancing enemy groups, and the front line remains unchanged. In the Zaporizhzhia direction, the occupiers carried out 1 attack on Robotyne. Suffering further losses, they continue only with shelling. Attacks are targeting both the frontline villages and the rear. The activity is quite high. And it's also reported that yesterday a drone exploded on the territory of the Zaporizhzhia Nuclear Power Plant.
IAEA experts confirmed physical impact of drone attacks at ZNPP today, including at one of its 6 reactors. 1 casualty reported. Damage at Unit 6 has not compromised nuclear safety, but this is a serious incident potential to undermine integrity of the reactor's containment system.
As evident, the Russians seem to have started showing activity around the Zaporizhzhia Nuclear Power Plant, posing a threat of a nuclear catastrophe. So what do you think about this? In the Kherson direction, it's reported that the Russians conducted 8 assaults on the village of Krynky within a day, all of which were unsuccessful. However, based on a video published yesterday on Russian Telegram channels, unfortunately, our unit suffered losses. I cannot show such a video, but the Russians showed once again that they had destroyed prisoners. This is further evidence that holding the foothold is not easy, and the Ukrainian forces are fighting daily. And Russian war correspondents have begun to threaten those who filmed and published this video because they fear retaliation from the Ukrainian forces.
To the moronic guys from the 328th Airborne Assault Regiment, 104th Airborne Division, a fiery greeting. Now your video with the execution of captured Kokals is posted by the whole world. But most of all, you morons, you framed your regimental commander, who is now either killed or finished off in revenge by his relatives and friends. If even 1 hair falls from the head of my classmate Sergei or his family members, we will come to you at the PVD and finish you off, or you will be sent to 1 and 2 Krynky.
Now, let's move on to the Luhansk direction. So, in the area of Siversk, the occupiers continue to actively advance in the areas of Avdiivka, Fedorivka, Rozdolivka, and Vesele. As seen, assaults are being carried out simultaneously from 4 directions. So the activity here is quite high, about 10 attacks per day. However, the Ukrainian forces are doing everything to hold the defense, and the front line remains unchanged. In the direction of Crimea, the activity has decreased. There were 2 attacks in the area of the village of Terny within a day, and shelling continues along the entire front line. So the Russians haven't achieved success as before, and even on such large sections of the front, they cannot push the Ukrainian forces beyond the river, which once again demonstrates the strength and heroism of the Ukrainian forces. In the area of Svatove, no activity is being recorded, and the front line remains unchanged. And in the direction of Kupiansk, there are also no new offensive actions reported, and shelling continues along the entire front line. According to the Ukrainian forces, the occupiers are already afraid to leave their trenches because our units are actively using FPV drones and destroying all occupiers as soon as they appear on the horizon. Therefore, success is on the side of the Ukrainian forces here, and the Russians' plans to advance towards Kupiansk have failed. And that's all from me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching, and see you See you next time. Bye bye.